Hi there, men's dating coach HarryWilmington here, founder of IntrovertDatingSuccess.com. And on today's show, we're going to be answering a question from a guy that wants to know how an average Joe like himself can possibly attract unbelievably attractive women and be less anxious around them. If you're watching this at youtube.com/HarryWilmington, hit the like button, subscribe button, and the bell icon to be notified of new episodes. All right, so I thought this was an interesting message because this is a guy that's going through a situation that can occur when you are a guy that has been putting in the work to better himself and women start to notice you. Because even if you start to notice that there are women out there that are of a higher quality or of a higher attractiveness that are looking at you, there may be still parts of you that are anxious or nervous and don't know what to do. And you might not even understand or feel like you deserve the attention from these women who are looking at you like you're the most attractive guy ever. And you're still thinking, but I'm really just an average Joe. So we're going to go ahead and get to the psychology of that and things for you to think about as you start to work more on yourself. By the way, be sure to go to IntrovertDatingSuccess.com to check out my eBooks, audiobooks, video courses, and freebies. And you can also click on the coaching tab to schedule a one-on-one coaching consultation with yours truly. Also, if you have any questions you want answered on one of these shows, you can write to me at HarryWilmington@gmail.com. And lastly, if you find this message to be of value to you and you want to show your support, go to the website and click on the tip jar tab to leave a donation as well. All right, let's go ahead and get to this guy's message. His message is, I feel like an average Joe, but the girls that stare at me are unbelievably attractive. I need advice. I recently started dating again after 1.5 years of being single. I got out of a 5-year relationship that took a toll on my self-esteem. I believe before the relationship, I had a much easier time talking to people in general, but after the breakup, I started to feel shy around practically anybody. And that's understandable because when you go through a breakup or you're with somebody that's maybe not complimenting you or worse, is constantly like downing you or negging you or whatever, then that can really take a toll on your self-esteem. And especially as guys, oftentimes our ego can be attached to how well we're doing with women. So if a woman gets rid of you, that can really take a toll on how you feel about yourself, about who you are as a man, and about how attractive you actually are to women in the outside world. Continuing, he said, friends and strangers just made me feel self-conscious all the time. I felt like all situations I was involved with were awkward. I decided to take as long as it needed to feel secure again for myself, prioritizing my self-love before even thinking about being with somebody else. And that's something that you definitely need to do. If you were in a situation where your ego was getting hit and you felt like your self-esteem was getting pummeled to death, then you're not going to be good for anybody until you're able to get yourself in a situation in your own lifestyle, whatever that means to you, whereby you're feeling more confident about yourself, where you're trying new things that are daring and bold and that allow you to add to the person who you are, so that way you're even more of an attractive mate to a potential person that may see you, okay? So definitely make sure you're doing the through work, because you can't just break it with somebody and then just jump to somebody else without having first kind of looked at yourself and seen what you could assess to be better or to refix and rebuild your self-esteem, because it's self-esteem. So even if this other person was calling you names or treating you bad or whatever, it's still your job to decide how you're going to react to that. If you find yourself on the lower end of that, it's your job to figure out how to get out of that, ideally in a positive form, but in one that's going to bring you back up to where you were and even a little bit better. Like this guy who said, I hit the gym, I got into the best shape of my life, I picked up the bass guitar to funnel some of the emotions through an art. Now I feel better than ever mentally, which is good. But I'm having trouble getting back in the game. Okay, so let's at least go over the fact that he started working out, he learned an instrument, he's doing things that are going to make him a better person, not for women, but just in terms of himself. He has a new skill now. He's taking care of himself. He's in better shape. So all these things ideally are going to be able to rebuild your self-esteem up to where you feel confident enough to where when women see you, they're going to be like, oh, this guy's a confident guy. He's trying new things. He's doing things I've never heard of before. He's in good shape and stuff. And that's going to be more attractive and appealing than if you just wallow in your sorrow and you just wallow in your low self-esteem that this other person helped cause. Continuing, he says, but now I'm having trouble getting back in the game. The girls I am attracting now are girls I never thought I would be able to get. And again, this is what happens when you're able to work on yourself and motivate yourself to be a better person. When you're doing better, women are going to see you're better and they're going to compare you to these other guys out there that are probably chasing them, that are complaining, that are always like simping on them and saying, oh, please go out with me and blah, blah, and I'll be your friend and I'll do whatever you want for you and all this sort of stuff. Like, they're not being the attractive guys that they need to be. And this guy's in his own world doing stuff of his own accord. He's making himself work out, learning instrument without being motivated to do that by women. And that, ironically, will make a woman more attracted to you, seeing that you're able to motivate yourself without the need for her to do it for you is going to make her want to be in your world. Continuing, he says, that's been a real great confidence booster. However, they make me really nervous and I end up being quiet and shy. What tips can you give me when I'm feeling this social anxiety? I really want to approach some of the women I catch staring at me, but I feel like I lack the confidence at the most crucial times. Okay, so this is really why you may possibly struggle with this kind of situation whereby, let's say you have bettered yourself and now you're out there and you start to notice women looking at you and they're really hot and attractive women. They're tens, they're dimes. And up to this point, you've never had those kind of women look at you. It's going to feel awkward because up to this point, your normal is, 5, 6, or 7s looking at you. And now here come these 10s, okay? So here's what happens when you better yourself. Because what you're going to think is this: if I better myself, hotter women are going to like me, and then I can choose to date hotter women. But what happens is your mind has to still catch up to the idea that hotter women are seeing you and they're not seeing you as that average Joe anymore. Because here's the reality, okay? And I wrote this down because I want to make sure I got this right, okay? We judge other people's reality of us based on our view of ourselves and our perceived reality. Let me say that again. We judge other people's reality of us based on our view of ourselves and our perceived reality. So in other words, when this happens, you're thinking that these women out here are looking at you and judging you in the same way that you would judge yourself. Now, if for a long period of time you had low self-esteem, and let's say you weren't that jacked guy, you weren't learning a lot of new skills, you were kind of like the weird, kind of off-putting guy a little bit or whatever, well, just because you make these changes to yourself outwardly, and that just because women see these things outwardly doesn't mean that your brain has actually caught up to what your new reality actually is for other people. Because while they're seeing you as the attractive guy and the above average guy, there's still going to be a part of you that's saying, I'm just still an average guy. And, there's no, these girls are going to want to talk to me. And then what happens is, as you see them looking, even if you're realizing, okay, these hot women are looking at me, then you go into your brain and think, well, no, I can't go talk to them because if I talk to them, then they're going to, even though they might perceive me as an above average guy, I'm going to open my mouth, I'm going to start talking, and then I'm going to be taken back down to that level of average Joe guy who they wouldn't even want to give the time of day to. So in essence, you feel like you're basically lying to them. Like when they see you, you're thinking, they're getting the lie version of me. Because I'm not really this, even though I look cut and I'm playing an instrument and I'm looking like I'm joking and laughing, whatever like that, they're going to be able to see through that when they talk to me because I don't really feel like I'm an above average guy. And again, this all just comes from years of you and your brain being in a situation where you are not that guy. And this is something that I went through, and I've said this on the show before, I was that kid in middle school and high school that was called the weird kid, the awkward kid. And admittedly, I did some outlandish stuff back then. But in hindsight, it's, I took that mantle on. I took on I'm the strange and awkward introverted kid, so I'm going to just have that be my reputation. The problem was when I got to college and the things that I was doing that in the past would have been called weird were now seen as unique and different and exciting. Well, I'm still thinking these are weird things. And now there's women that are seeing me doing these weird things, quote unquote, and they're getting a kick out of it and want to be around me. And I'm thinking, what? Oh, no. Because I'm going to eventually do something that's going to be too weird for them and they're going to back off. So I'm just not going to I'm not going to act like they're even hitting on me no matter how hot they are. Do you know how long that took to get out of my brain? I would say it was pretty much until near the end of my college years when I finally realized that hey, it's okay to stop seeing yourself as weird. You can see yourself as a guy that's kind of handsome. You can see yourself as a guy that women will actually like. And it took me a while to give that message to myself. So here's the thing. As you're getting better, as you're, doing things to better your life, as you're learning various dating techniques and you're learning what things to do and what not to do, as you're reading through my eBooks that you can get at introvertdatingsuccess.com and really going through some of the ins and outs of how attraction works, and you're going through the Smart Digital Dating Program, as you're going through these things, even if you get this new knowledge, understand there's going to be part of your brain that's going to be like, you're going to do these things, you're going to say these new things, they're going to actually work, and your brain's going to be like, but nah, that can't really work. No, these girls want me now. Nah, that's not going to happen. You know what? Let me not even hit on this girl, or let me not let her come over here. Let me not approach her as she's staring at me from across the room. Because if I do that, I'm going to open my mouth and she's going to see that I'm just that scared, anxious dude that I really am. And that experience she thought she was going to get of the new me isn't going to happen. And dude, let me tell you, sometimes other people's judgment of you is going to be better than yours. Meaning that if you have hot women that are looking at you from across the room and staring at you for more than 5 seconds at a time and giving you those come hither eyes, her judgment in this situation is all that matters. Darn you thinking that you're still the average Joe. Darn you thinking that you're not going to be good enough. She over there is saying that you're good enough. So why are you going to now say that her opinion is wrong when hers is the more positive opinion in the situation? Now, as to how you approach her, well, if she's staring at you and looking at you, that is pretty much an open invitation that says, hey, come over and start a conversation. And I have plenty of materials at my website that talk about ways you can transition into conversations. But one of the easiest ways, honestly, is just walk over to that general area and then just make a comment about something in the atmosphere, or go over to her and ask her a question that you know she'll know the answer to, like, hey, I'm trying to figure out where the bathroom is, or hey, I know you were drinking this kind of drink over here. Like, what flavor is that? I want to know what it is so I can test it out. Hey, what's that appetizer you're eating on? Can I get a taste of that? Like, there are so many ways that you can open, and it doesn't have to be one of those sleazy openers that pickup artists typically talk about, because I know as an introverted guy, you're not trying to go that route. And guess what? I don't go that route either. I go to women and just start conversations about stuff that's going on in the atmosphere, and somehow that results in us having a lingering conversation that results in a phone number and eventually a date. Like, you don't have to put so much thought into it. But also, to your point, if she's looking at you with those eyes, your body and whoever you are has already done the work in terms of attracting her. All you got to do is just go over there and not mess it up. But you going over there and being anxious and being in your head about, but I'm still an average Joe, blah, 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 blah. You need to think yourself as not average. And if you are average, it's not bad that if you are average, but the point is she's seeing you as potentially above average in her eyes. So for whatever her eyes are saying, you believe that, and let yourself get out of your head and say, you know what? My head's giving me all these thoughts that are going to hold me back. But you know what? Let me go with her thoughts right now. What is she thinking? She's thinking I'm the hot looking guy. So let me go over there and prove her right, because she already believes it. Okay? You got to have more faith in yourself. You got to believe in yourself, and you got to understand that women out there are going to see you in your newness as you're doing new things, as you're developing yourself, and they're going to want to be a part of that. And you have to recognize that as you are trying these new things and becoming a new person, your brain's going to lag behind. You have to be forcefully, consistently letting your brain catch up to who you actually are in your current reality and not relying on the past. And the problem with the brain is that, unfortunately, because time doesn't actually exist, your brain can be stuck in who you were at 16 and 17, and you at 24, 25, 30, whatever, is suffering the consequences of still being in that reality instead of the new reality that says women are seeing you in a new light and want to actually date you if you would just go up to them and start talking. If you need help on what some of those things you can do are to approach women, again, introvertdatingsuccess.com. Guys, I got so many freebies at the website. I got free stuff. I got paid stuff. I got all good stuff that's designed to help you with these kind of processes. But go there, check out some of the eBooks, audiobooks, check out some of the video programs that I have to offer, check out some of the free materials that I have that'll walk you through some of these steps on how to do these things, and get yourself educated, because as you get educated, and you start practicing things and you start to repeat some of these things so they become part of your actual nature, then by definition of habit, it's going to go up to your brain, and your brain will catch up to how you actually are now, and you won't feel so anxious and nervous when you are approaching women that are looking at you in this new light. If you found the info in this episode to be helpful, please show your support by clicking on the tip jar tab, the link of which can be found at the website and in the description below. Be sure to like, share, subscribe, and comment on this episode, and get new episodes right here on YouTube or wherever podcasts can be found. In the meantime, be sure to check out these other episodes so you too can learn to date as your introverted self while still getting your precious alone time. Thanks for watching, and I'll catch you next time. Peace.